On the southern end of the Nicoya Peninsula, Tambor Beach, a laid-back community of a couple of small towns, punctuated by a few hotels and the Los Delfines golf course retirement community. As one resident put it, they may not be off the grid, but certainly close to the edge. A definitive mix of centuries, old and new. The easiest way to get here is by ferry from Punta Arenas. Bring a car or walk on, whichever you like. If you're 65 and over, you can ride for free. Here too, Olive Ridley turtles nest, deposit their eggs, and hopefully, 45 days later, hatchlings will spring forth. A ritual that repeats itself all along the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. This emerging nest is in the Tambor Bay Turtle Nursery. Irachi Casada is project coordinator for Tambor Bay Turtles. She, along with her crew of tireless volunteers like Susan Jackson and Jeff Hunter, are the heart and soul of Tambor Bay Turtles. Tambor Bay Turtles was created by Ron Mills, a Canadian who spends his winters in Tambor Bay. He was inspired to initiate this driving force of salvation for the Olive Ridley sea turtle population here.
Went from there. 4 years ago, we learned that there were turtles here, and now we're producing several thousand turtles every year to help the population.
So how did Tambor Bay Turtles get started, and what is it?
Once we found out that we had turtle, I mean, it was not a secret because some of the locals knew that there were turtles here. The people who poached the eggs certainly knew there were turtles here. A local biologist, we went and consulted with him. He said, sure, there's some out there, but we don't really know a lot about them. So 4 years ago, we did a pilot project, and we weren't allowed to touch the nests or the turtles or do anything other than observe. And we observed for one whole season. And it was both exciting and it was heartbreaking. It was exciting because there were more turtles here than we thought there were. And it was heartbreaking because the survival rate of the turtle nests and eggs on the beach was so critically low. And there were so many threats that we had seen throughout the course of that first season that we knew that the population wouldn't survive into the long term if we didn't do something.
So what did you do?
We hired a biologist. We provided the results of our observations to him. He devised a management strategy. The best strategy, of course, was to relocate the eggs to a safe and secure environment. We submitted the management plan that we developed to the Costa Rican government. They approved it. It called for the construction of a hatchery. We raised money. We built a hatchery. And the following year, we trained ourselves, and we got as much information as we could from other sources, and other people helped us locally. And we began to collect the eggs from the beach and hatch turtles. The first year was phenomenal. We hatched 11,000 turtles. We couldn't believe it.
This is the motivation, the payoff, if you will, for all their long hours and hard work.
Oh, one guy is directionally challenged.
Hi! Por eso estamos por
As Paul Harvey, a famous conservative radio commentator of the late 20th century, would say, as he went into more detail about a particular subject, now here is the rest of the story. Many olive ridleys return here to nest on the beaches of this relatively remote piece of the Nicoya Peninsula. But between the high tides, naturally shallow, flotsam-covered beaches that end with a steep slope, the egg poachers and natural predation, their chances of survival without help were not good. The ingredients for saving these unique creatures is hours and hours of patrolling the beaches, looking for nests that have been deposited and getting to them before the natural predators, including the poachers. Yurachi, Ron, and their volunteers keep an exhausting schedule of beach patrols. They patrol all hours of the night and morning, though olive ridleys generally are nocturnal. The group splits up to patrol the beach in opposite directions. Yurachi has a new volunteer, a student from the University of Costa Rica in Punta Arenas, Rafael Marin, who will spend a few days here each week helping and learning about olive ridleys and Tambor Bay Turtles' effort to increase their chances of survival.
To follow it and see if actually the turtle lay or not lay their eggs, right? So as I explained you before, you can see here is the area where the turtle was. So you can see in this log, there's a lot of sand spread and you see the circle around, right? Also, you can see the raccoons were here. There are like footprints, raccoon prints around, but luckily they didn't take the eggs, right? So that means that the turtle did a good job. She camouflaged the nest, so then the raccoons cannot get the smell, so they cannot find the eggs. So now, just with the stick, we're gonna do that. We just like go through. So you see here, I feel it, like it goes all the way to here. So I think this is where is the nest. If I go to another place, it's really hard, the sand, right? And then when this sun, when it rains, it gets super hard. So also for the turtles, it's not very easy, right, to dig it. But you can see here, you feel perfectly where she dig the nest, because this is like super hard, right? But then where I'm digging here is like soft sand, because the turtle was digging it. And here we can see the eggs. I don't know if you can see them right here. So first we are gonna fill the data information that we get into to every track that we find. Sector 5, it's an olive ridley turtle. We didn't see the turtle. And this nest is gonna go to the hatchery. So now when we take the eggs, we're gonna write here how many eggs we get. And then in the hatchery, we will add where it's gonna be in the hatchery and the estimating hatchling date. Okay, so we need to take the eggs carefully. Only 67, but that's okay. Usually they lay between 80 and 120, right? That's like the average, but sometimes they lay they lay more, sometimes less. Also, that can be depend on the time of the season. So, for example, one turtle can lay more than one time, right, during the season. So maybe she lay already 2 times or 3 times. So then at the end of the season, she has less eggs to lay. So then she can lay smaller nests. Okay, so now we cover it.
When eggs are recovered, they're placed in a cooler to protect them from the heat and taken to the Tambor Bay Turtles hatchery, or vivero as it's called in Spanish. The hatchery is located at the Tambor Tropical Beach Resort, who generously host the hatchery operation on their property. On a prime piece of beach, Tambor Tropical Beach Resort is a classic example of Costa Rica understatement and elegance. In addition, the resort's a commercial venture with a social conscience and sense of ecologic responsibility. Their manager, Juan Carlos, is also a volunteer.
The number one priority for the project is conservation for the turtles, because we have found that, and as we know, they're an endangered species, and they have a lot of challenges that they meet in order for them to, for us to recuperate the population. But there's a few other benefits, I call them collateral benefits of this project, and one to me is very dear and very important, is education, environmental education. And you do it with people from all ages, all nationalities. Kids learn a lot because we try to involve as many kids as we can in the project, but also adults and also tourists. When we go releases, people, whether by chance, walking on the beach, and they come and they see it, and they appreciate nature, and they know that there's an effort, and there's plenty of them, but there's one more effort, especially in this bay, to preserve our species. And then also, it creates an opportunity for people to need to know about Tambor Bay, and to know that we are, a place that really respects nature.
This is kind of an unusual situation in that you operate a hotel, but you are allowing some of the land to be used for conservation and for the turtles. Can you tell us about how that all works?
Sure. It's interesting because some people think that this type of preservation and this type of project rivals with development, and it really doesn't. Not if you do development the right way. And the way we need to develop is in harmony with the environment. So it's not detrimental to our project as a hotel. For the contrary, it's beneficial. So it's a symbiosis, which we both worked for one goal. And like I said, it brings the attention to our place, but for the right reasons. So that's why the owner decided to support the project by allowing the project to be inside Tambor Tropical Resort. But like I said, we've received the benefit of also having that project here. And like I said, if you do it right, there's no competition. You can have both. You can develop it, you can create job opportunities for people, but you can also benefit the environment.
No, where are you going? It's totally lost. Hi.
What's the best part about what you do? What do you enjoy most?
Oh, there's so many, it's hard to say, but it's gotta be, I don't take this bay and this place for granted. I enjoy it every morning that I wake up. And I went on a patrol this morning, for instance. I didn't find any eggs. The people who went the other way, they did find one. But I always say you never come back empty-handed from one of these walks. You have a beautiful sunrise, you got nature, everything is right. If you walk in the morning, you got the sunrise. If you walk at night, you have the stars like you don't see them anywhere in the world because there's no artificial light around. So it's just, there's so many things, but I gotta say, nature in our bay is gotta be the number one thing that I enjoy the most.
How do you feel about
They're good. We're happy all of them get into the water pretty fast. So hopefully they will have a good life. We wish them good luck.
The hatchery is here, a couple of 100 meters north of the main hotel complex. Because of the steep nature of the beach, it was built well above the high tide line in a concrete enclosure that supports 95 nests. There are 72 occupied today. Here, Irache and another volunteer, Andrea Reinertsen from Norway, measure and weigh the recovered eggs before re-nesting them in the hatchery.
Nest number 51. We found it in sector 5. The cell will be A4. And then date today is 5th October. The time it was at 5 in the morning. And then so welcome 99 eggs. And the estimated hatchling date, so if we count 45 days from the 5th of October, that's gonna be the 20th of November. So then what we do is in every nest, we are measuring also like weighting 10 eggs of each nest, right? So then we can calculate more or less the size of the eggs. So we are gonna weight 10 eggs of the nest. Okay, now we put it. Okay, 27 grams. Just make sure that you choose another one. 26. 25. 26, 26. These eggs are very small. If you compare with, for example, the nest that we got the other day, they were like 29, 30, 31 grams. So it's like 5 grams of difference. So you can see it also on the size, right? I told you on the beach, you remember when we were taking the eggs, I was like, oh, these are small eggs. 25, and the last one, 26. Okay. So then also when the babies hatch, we weight 10 of the babies, and then we measure the length and the width of the shell of 10 of these babies. So then we can compare if the weight of the egg is related with the weight of the turtles or not. So we can see if actually it's like something important or not, right? Okay, so now we have to dig the nest and put the eggs. This nest is like this. It has like a kind of like a chamber, and then we have the column, right? So the eggs are gonna be in the chamber. So first what we do is like we do the deep part. So we dig like the deepest, so 40-45 centimeters deep. So it should be around my elbow size. And then once I have the deep, then I can start making the chamber. Yeah.
How many nests do you think you have dug in your lifetime?
Oof. Wow. I don't know. Many. I don't know. A lot of them. That's amazing how they do it. It's like if you look carefully, like how they move, they take the sand and they put it out, and then they take the other flipper and then they put it out, and it's like very interesting. Okay, so it's ready. You wanna fill it like the shape, just touch it around. Like you see, it's like the chamber circle. Don't take sand out, just fill it. So then always we need to have the upper part like a kind of like a column. So then when the eggs hatch, the babies can climb up, right? If it's all like a hole, then they don't have like how to climb up, right? So that's important also the way you make the nest to get a good success of the nest. Okay. So again, we are gonna count. We're gonna count again the eggs to make sure that the number is correct, right? So we always double count everything just in case. I count correctly. And then we put also the rest of the sand that is inside the bag, just in case they have, you know, the mucus and the bacteria, so we keep it all there. Yeah, so then all the eggs are inside the chamber. And now we can cover the nest as the mom will do. So we just put all the sand. Okay, and now we are gonna put the green net to protect the nest from the small predators like spiders, crabs. So then we calculate the size, and then we dig it, so it's gonna be like around 10 centimeters deep, more or less. So then the wind is not gonna take them out, right? Here. Press it. Then we just close it. Good. Perfect. And then the last thing we have to do is we need to put the wood mark with all the information, so then we can have the control of when it's gonna hatch these ones. The number of the nest, number 51. Then where it's located in the hatchery, so it's gonna be I4. How many eggs we get? 99 eggs. And the estimated hatchling date is gonna be the 20th of November. Yes? Perfect. Good.
Another element, or perhaps a pleasant distraction here in Tambor Bay, are the scarlet macaws, or lapis rojas. A product of a successful reintroduction program, they're thriving, and also a favorite of Arachi's.
So in this area of the peninsula, we can find a lot of scarlet macaws. You hear them, they're over there flying. A few years ago, the scarlet macaws, they were on extinction, like in danger. But here in this area, they start a program to reproduce them in captivity, so then we could release them back into nature. And actually it worked very well. So now in the area of Tambor, we can find a lot of scarlet macaws, so that's very nice. And now they move the program to a little bit north in the Kabuja area, so they are like trying to reproduce them there, so then they can also repopulate on this area. Okay, yeah, so usually you will see flying the macaws in couples. That's because they have always, they find their partners for the rest of their lives. So they are always together, the couple. And then if they are young and one of the couple die, then they will find another one. But if they are already old, then they will stay alone for the rest of their lives. So then sometimes you can see a group of 3. It's because they have the chicken with them, right? So then they mate usually, I think once a year or every 2 years. So then the chicken stays with them for like a few months, and then when it's ready to find their partner, then they do the mating process. So they do like kind of like a fancy flying mode. So then they need to follow, the males, they have to follow the female all the way, like flying, and then she will pick up the best flyer, I guess. And so then they will get the partner and they go together as well. But even if you see them flying in couples, they are in groups. They live kind of together on the same trees and on the same area.
Another part of the science that goes on here, nest exhumation.
So we're gonna exhumate this nest. It's number 12. It has 98 eggs. Already hatched 92 babies, okay? So that means that we have only 6 eggs that we don't know what happened. So hopefully we can find any other babies inside here. And if not, we'll see if we have hatched eggs or some dead, hopefully not, okay? So we just take out everything first. And then we're gonna take all the sand first. We cannot reuse the same sand. As you can see in the other ones, see the other holes are empty because we take the sand out. That's to avoid like the bacteria of the eggs, they are not spread to the other nests. So we take them out. And also the shells and the rest of the hatched eggs, we take them out and we bury them into the beach again. So that will be like the natural process. We take them from the beach, but we put them back into the beach, right? Okay, so we have here the first shells. So this is already a hatch, right? Like a baby hatch. So then we have only the shell. So we just keep all the shells and all the stuff in the bag. So then we'll bury it back again into the beach.
These shells look like they're almost skin-like.
Wow, we have one baby here. This is alive. It's sleepy because it's being buried right under the sun. And at the beginning they have the closed eyes, but then it will open them in a while. So what we do is we use these boxes, so we put always wet sand, so then they can stay good, right? just gonna put it here. See? So it's moving.
Yay!
So it will take a little bit to wake up.
So how many eggs did you start with and how many hatched naturally, and then how many do you expect to find in that nest now that you're exhuming it?
Yeah, so we have 98 eggs. They hatched 2 nights ago 92. So that means we have 6 left. So already we got 1 more baby. And then we have here 2 dead ones that they were hatchling but they couldn't survive. And then we have 1 unhatched eggs. So we're still missing 2 eggs. So we'll see. Okay, that's another unhatched egg. You can see it's kind of like it has like a fungus inside. That's why it's like very soft. Yeah. And this is another one. So that will be all, I guess. So yeah, that's what we got. 1 alive, 2 dead ones, and 3 unhatched eggs. That I can see they're undeveloped eggs. Like they never gonna hatch, right? They were not started the development, but they have fungus. So that could be because of the turtle or because of the sand or many other reasons. But that's a good number. And these 3, they were undeveloped.
Once the information is entered into their records, it's off to the beach to bury the old shells and to release the 1 baby they found.
At the beginning, sometimes they get confused, right? Like they need time to see where is the ocean and where they have to go. When they are babies, we don't know if they are females or males. We need to check it in blood samples if we want to know it, right? But what we know is the turtles are sex temperature determinant. So that means that depends on the temperature of the nest, we will get more females or more males, right? So usually higher temperatures, we will get more females, and lower temperatures will get more males. So it's been seen that in the last years, because of the climate change and the increase of the temperatures in the world, we are getting more females. So at the end, that's gonna be a problem, right? So what we can do is we can put more shade on our nest, or we can sometimes water in with the rains and all that. But first we have to monitor the temperature in our hatchery to see actually how are the numbers in our hatchery, right? So then once they are adults, we can see the difference between a female and a male just looking at their outside. The males, they have longer tails than the females. So that's why we can know that it's a male or a female, right? So they have longer tails because they use them for reproduction.
In addition to everything else, Tambor Bay Turtles have regular beach cleanup parties. At the moment, it's off-season, so their crew of volunteers is a little thin, but will increase dramatically when seasonal guests arrive.
Okay, so for the beach cleanups, we have different things. We have these sacks. So here are gonna be the recyclables. So that means only plastic bottles, cans, and glass. So like these kind of plastics, we cannot recycle. So this is gonna be like a normal garbage, okay? And then we can use the bucket for the little small things like the microplastics. We will find a lot of them, so we can just fill the bucket and then we'll put it in a garbage bag. Si quieres, agarra el saco y ve recogiendo solamente lo que sea. The important thing about the plastics in general is like they don't degrade, like they just break down in small pieces, and then at the end you cannot see them, but they are there in the water, right, in the ocean. So that's the bad part of the plastics, because you can see very little pieces of these, or even small pieces, right? Like they start breaking down, and at the end, all the animals in the oceans are eating these plastics because they are just floating in the water, and they cannot differentiate that. So all the animals, and after that, as humans, we are eating all these plastics because we are eating the fish that they are eating these plastics, right? So then all our bodies are full of plastics at the same time. They said, I read like days ago, that they calculated that a human being is eating like a credit card plastic in 1 week. So like the amount of plastic, it will be like proportion with one credit card. So that's a lot of plastic, right? For a week. So imagine doing all our lives. And it's very sad because I feel that you never finish to clean the beach, right? Because there's always more trash coming from the ocean. So there's like, you don't have time to clean all these little pieces, and then the next tide more are coming. So it's like a never end. But at the same time, all the amount of garbage that we are picking, it's like a hope that thinking that any animal is gonna eat this. So that's why it's important to do what we do.
I always share pictures, and I never share this, but I think it's important.
Yeah, we should.
You know, I always share the pretty pictures, but this is the reality. My husband and I moved here almost 2 years ago to retire just a little bit early so we could do things like this. We found out about Tortugas Bahia Tambor Bay Turtles, and it was right here in our own beach community, so we had to sign up and volunteer, and we've been avid volunteers ever since. We help with the turtle patrols, walking the beach early morning and evening. We help with releasing babies. We help with beach cleanups and other community events.
A new method they're trying is cleaning the harbor from kayaks. During the rainy season, October and November, rivers swell, bringing a lot more trash into the bays and into the food system for aquatic animals. Thomas Jones from Bahia Rica Sport Fishing and Kayaks organized the cleanup, provided kayaks as well as a mothership for the collected trash.
And today we're out here with a group of volunteers from the Tambor Bay Turtle project, and we're doing a little, I call it kayak cleanup, where we're using our kayaks to try to clean up some of the garbage, especially plastic that's out here floating in the currents. Unfortunately, it's a growing problem all over the world, and there's been a lot of focus on it lately. And we've always done a little bit of cleaning ourselves when we were out here, but we felt it's the time to see if we can really try to get people together and help out. We do our part by lending out the kayaks, and then in return they pick up garbage, and of course they can also go around a little bit and enjoy as a part of that. And we're just hoping we'll keep at least the inner bay here as clean as possible. And every little bit helps, every person helps. And so that we have cleaner water and less problem with turtles eating plastic and birds getting tangled in lines and fish getting tangled in things. It's sad. There's a lot of natural garbage here, which is what's supposed to be trees and limbs and all little kinds of little grass stuff. That's fine. That's normal. But way too much plastic. Footballs, fishing line, wrappers, bottle corks, shoes. I could start a shoe store. I've seen so many shoes out here. But we're doing our part, and hopefully we can get this going as a permanent thing in the rainy season when there's a lot of garbage coming down from the rivers. One of the kayaks has a full load here, so we're gonna unload it into the boat so they have some more space to work with.
Well, this is one of the most rewarding things I've ever done, I think.
Oh, cool.
That's amazing how much. Oh, it's terrible.
In the world of turtle rescue and preservation protection, the one given fact that's not in dispute: there will always be a need for dedicated individuals, administrative and volunteer, to keep up the work.
Yeah.
Not only here in Tambor Bay, where continued night patrols, hatching babies, gathering and relocating eggs, recruiting and training new volunteers, but in other like-minded efforts, of which there are dozens all along the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. Without their work, olive ridley numbers would definitely be affected.
4.
We hope you've enjoyed this look at the massive arribada or sea turtle arrival phenomenon, in addition to the efforts of conservation projects along the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. Thanks for watching this episode of Discoveries Costa Rica.